Hello Internet, and welcome back to another web game review. Today is the turn of Crystallium Wars, a tower defense game by only 3 people, RND Games. Not entirely sure where they are, but it's a quite interesting tower defense game. There's a lot of things in the tower defense game which it's because there's things like this, the silo, which use your income rather than the traditional destroying of stuff. But one thing which has caused quite an annoyance with me is with the turret building, you can't move or delete the turrets after you've placed them. Well, once it's placed, that's it. Which is not that great. It creates a problem of, it makes a more puzzle than a tower defense game, because you end up, if you don't place the turrets in the right place, you can't delete them, you can't move them, so you just fail, which just creates problems. And then there's things like this, which is it's a very player system, it's too often it comes down to just me doing all the fighting rather than the towers in a tower defense game, which isn't that great. Yeah, I quite like the art is pretty good for all of it. I think pretty much most of the presentation is pretty good. The sound is good. The art is good. But it ends up being, as a tower defense game, it's just there's a few things missing, and then there's a few things that are, from the things that are missing, some are good, like with the environmental destroyer, as I like to call it. It just digs a massive trench. So playing on forest worlds, you just have this massive deforested trench going through the whole level, which is interesting to say the least. Yeah, there's little niggling things. It's like if you may notice, when I was building the turret, the money didn't disappear, which is the crystals in the top right corner. They didn't disappear until the turret was built, which isn't much of a problem. But it can get quite irritating, because there are some levels where you just have to spam build turrets. It's like there was one level, I think the level before this, where there was just a line of about 7 turrets, and it was just build as many turrets as possible and try and keep them not from destroying. Which is all right, but with the problem of, with the small niggling problem of the money not being taken away until it was built, you just suddenly get to the point where you're trying to build a turret and you're like, no, I have the money, and then a brief second later it all disappears. It's just not great. Oh, I never noticed another silo there. Probably explains why I wasn't doing very good with those missions. Yeah, as you can probably see, it comes down to a system of I do most of the fighting quite a lot of the time, which isn't very good. But that it seems to be built around that, because if I show you the upgrades, select a level. It's all very sort of player-centric. There's lots of upgrades. I can get different guns and upgrade my engines and science, which seems to do absolutely nothing. Does absolutely nothing. And very few... It's like there isn't... In quite a few tower defense games, you can upgrade turrets individually. So you can upgrade sort of one particular turret to a particular point and then do another one, or just get to the higher tier of one turret for like air defense or long range attack or whatever. But in this, it's just harvesting speed, turret damage, and building armor. And then there's repair cost and speed of repair, which is just not. It's not that in depth. I think because this is the reason why I said earlier that it ends up feeling more like a puzzle than a tower defense game. Because you can't move the turrets, you can't destroy the turrets and try and build something else and where it was. So you end up with just placing the turrets and seeing how it goes, which isn't that good. I think on the whole it is an alright game. It is very good. I like the music is good and the graphics are good. But it's just as a tower defense game, it doesn't perform, and that's quite sad. Because having a tower defense game like this, where you're a drone rather than God floating up in his space palace, then concepts like that are quite good. But it's just, I think if they do another one, I think if they put in the ability to move turrets and the little details like getting rid of like having the money being taken out as soon as it's built, rather than like a pause between building, it will be a lot better. I think it's the devil's in the detail, and it's missing a few details. But apart from that, if you can get past the details, then it's good. It's all right.